Well, so I believe a lot in kind of the law of magnetism. Really, good people or people associate themselves with people of similar character and beliefs. So, as I'm getting a bunch of calls and references as I started the women's basketball search. When I got a note from a former student athlete, women's soccer player, Lauren Trisna, that she at least has someone I should talk to, I said, I remember Triz, as I referred to her, and she's a great person. And I said, it's at least worth talking to. You talk to a lot of people during this process, and that person was Coach Tillett. And then I started to do the actual research, and before I even talked to her, I said, wait a minute, she's really good. Won a lot of games in high school and developed a program there, and then was doing her part in developing Navy. And then in speaking to her again, her leadership ability and acumen rose above the others. It was also evident that she was very respected in the field and thought well of. So it was, in both instances, it was a very difficult choice, and again, both candidates did a really good job in highlighting their abilities and attributes, and I was thankful that Coach Tillett chose Longwood, and I'm excited about working with her and helping her implement her vision for Longwood women's basketball.
And she's a William & Mary alum,
Yeah.
which is a neat thing too. She was back at William & Mary a couple weeks ago at a conference and got to meet my mom. And my mom sings her praises now also.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, we really are so thrilled about the what the future of Longwood basketball is with Coach Tillett at the head.
So with that, I'll give the floor to Rebecca Tillett and welcome her to Longwood.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, first, I'd just like to thank President Reevely and Troy both. When you're choosing an institution where you want to make a dream come true, you're certainly thinking about, can I make this dream wonderful at this place? And in talking with both of them and their vision for Longwood and Longwood Athletics, I was inspired. And just thinking about their visions and what was mentioned earlier, but the fact that they both were Division I college athletes is really something that compelled me to want to be a part of it. And everything since I've arrived here has just supported that statement. In the hallway that I'm already working on, in that hallway, Coach Aldrich and I were already communicating in each other's offices in the evening. Just the collegial relationships that are already being formed speak really well to both of their leadership and where Longwood Athletics can go. As I was thinking about what I might say today when a dream is literally coming true, there are certainly people I have to thank along the way. Tom McConnell and Steph Pemper both gave me my first opportunities in college athletics. I remember each athletic director and principal that ever gave me a chance to lead at the high school level. And how much of an impact each of them made on me, throughout my career. Sometimes you don't know a dream that you're going to have. This wasn't my original dream. I stood in front of second grade students when I was a college student and said, this is it. This is the best thing I could do is teach elementary school. And then I started coaching as well, and to have coaching continue to just be a passion. So I come from a teaching and coaching family, and each time I had the opportunity to teach in the basketball classroom, it kept carrying me to this point right now where I can choose that as my classroom each day. So that's really important to me. Thinking about the women that I've already met here at Longwood, it was important to me to meet them and spend time with them. We've all had individual meetings already. We've been on the court 4 times and had the opportunity to develop our culture. I know Coach spoke a lot about culture, and that's certainly critical to where we want to go. And how do you develop that? It's in the small moments. It's in the small moments. Sometimes it's just as we begin a practice session. It could be in a drill, and it can be in the really big moments as well that we hope to experience together. So just as far as building relationships with our players and with the other staff members here, I think, will be critical to our success. I'm a teacher first, as I said, and you know, one of the things that is important to me, and I know to our staff that we're working hard to assemble, is that we are matching the citizen leader vision that Longwood University has. And how we will do our part for that is we have a leadership program that we'll do in our program where our women will need to apply to be on our leadership team. They will have to submit a cover letter, write a resume, and go through an interview process with the coaching staff. And already a few of them have said, when are we going to get the guidelines? Let's get started on this. So in that process, we'll have opportunities to learn together, and we use different materials to do that. As far as our staff, I think just as critical as it is to have wonderful players in the program, the staff members that work alongside you to help build the vision and develop the culture and hold high standards for student athletes and for women as they're achieving, that piece is really important. And so some great advice from my dad and from Troy. They both said, you know, you don't have to rush that process. Find the people that are the great fit for Longwood University. So I'm in the midst of that and really excited to announce them as we finalize the process. I think finally just kind of thinking about where I've come from and where I am now with what we want to do as a program here. Every choice I've made along the way is to build something. And so it's either to build something or to help a program that's already at a high level stay at that level or achieve higher. So each day that I'm with our women, it's critical to me that we're taking a step forward in improvement. And that's really exciting to do here at Longwood under President Reevely and Troy's leadership.
First of all, congratulations to both you and Coach Aldridge.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, how do you adjust, because I know this is your first Division I head coaching job, how do you adjust from being a recruiting coordinator or assistant coach to being a head coach?
Yeah, I think I've been really fortunate that I was under Steph Pemper at the Naval Academy, who just continued to give me opportunities to lead. And so she's took me to a meeting with our athletic director on the 10-year state of the program. So she has given me just opportunity after opportunity so that I feel very prepared for this. Recruiting is critical to our success. I know it'll probably come up, the Virginia recruitment element. Certainly having been a high school coach in the state of Virginia, I have strong relationships with the coaches in the area. They've already been, you know, contacting me about their current players, and of course some of them I already know which players we would, you know, potentially be looking at. So yeah, so just I think I feel prepared. There's a lot I'll have to learn, and that's true of any decision that you make in your career. And even if I'm here a long time at Longwood, I will still be learning at that time, and that's how I'll approach it. Thank you.
Similar to what I asked Coach Alton, you walk into this conference. What are your impressions of the Big South and your plan for success in this league?
Yeah. I think the same sentiments I have about walking into Longwood Athletics and the welcoming nature of the Longwood family, I felt that already from the Big South, with head coaches reaching out to me to make me feel welcome, to answer any questions. Soon after I was hired, I was on the road recruiting in Raleigh, and Big South coaches are coming to check on me. You good? Do you need anything? Let us tell you anything about the league. I got to experience my first Big South caravan this morning and meet a lot of important people in relationship to the Big South, and just to hear the vision of where we want to go with the Big South and Longwood's part in that is inspiring too.
Coach Troy mentioned about his attraction, his name popped up in the process. At what point in the process for you did you know this was a great fit and what you needed to do? Yeah.
Great question. So it does echo Troy's story. So Lauren Trisna played for me for 4 years in high school, basketball at Osborne Park High School, which was where I attended as well. And I had my eye on Longwood for some time. Any opportunity in Virginia would be attractive to me. And so I did some research, initial research, and when the job was posted, I contacted Lauren, and I was actually reaching out to get the women's soccer coach, Todd Dyer, who's also a graduate of Osborne Park High School. I wanted to get his phone number. And she said, well, actually, I know Troy Austin very well. And I said, well, that would be great. I would also love to get Troy's phone number. So I got everything ready, submitted it formally, and then reached out to Troy directly. So Lauren's been so thoughtful throughout the process. I've thanked her multiple times, and her message to me is, go do it, Coach. You know, go work with those women there and do something special.
You mentioned meeting with a lot of the players that you have on the roster now. A lot of them are younger players, a lot of lower classmen. And I wanted to see how you think they fit in with the system and game plan you hope to implement here at Longwood.
Yeah. I think the first thing to say is there's talent in the room, and I've already been able to experience that through our workouts. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about bringing women to join them and continue our goals and achievement. I think as far as our style, I have a certain style, and I'll share with you what we're hoping to do, but I'm also never tied to just one style. We're going to try to be really competitive. And so how do we do that? We need to be extremely prepared. That'll be in scouting. That'll be in preparing our team. I also love an up-tempo style of play. And I think to do that, we're trying to teach players how to make the right read, how to make the right decision. And so as I assemble our staff, that's something that is critical to me, that they have the ability to teach and interact with young women and get them to understand the decisions they have to make, because when our game is played at the most beautiful high level, those decisions are happening in an instant. And so if we do our part in preparing them, that starts with selecting them in the recruiting process, it starts with teaching them, and then preparing them for our opponents in the Big South, so that we'll be as successful as we can be.
Anything else for Coach Tillett? Your time as a scout in the WNBA, how do you think that applies to you as a recruiter to be able to scout talent, find talent out there in basketball?
I think you guys will enjoy this story. So I did that for a few years, and it happened out of an opportunity of another college coach reached out to me and said, I can't go this night. Could you fill in for me? And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to learn how to scout in the WNBA today. This is fantastic. One of the days that I attended, they moved me to another location. I'm supposed to be getting calls, so I need to be able to hear, and I'm supposed to get signals, things that they might not be able to pick up on film. So they moved me to an area where I can't do either of those things. I could just watch the film and get as good of a scout. So I moved. So then I'm sitting there watching, and I moved down a little bit, and they come find me again. And they say, Rebecca Tillett, you have to move. And I said, oh my God. I didn't even know they knew I was here, you know, like watching. And then when I contacted my, person that was in charge of me, they said, it's okay, it happens. They moved him at the other site, so you had to get moved as well. But I think what that taught me was just really how to evaluate film at a high level, because of course those coaches have access to that film as well. They just want another perspective. They want those calls from the floor if you're close enough to get them. And so I do think it was critical in my development. I look back at that now and I think how much more I've learned since that time. Would I even be more helpful if I had that opportunity sometime in the future? But I did learn a lot, and I'm thankful that I had that chance.
I have a question for President Reevely and Troy Austin. I just want to ask, you hired two coaches from Virginia. They both went to school here. How important was it to hire coaches that had local ties?
Very important. I think, as was noted earlier, about the desire to be able to win in recruiting battles in Virginia. I think that was very important, especially in who we are, what our tradition is, and the fact that Virginia is really good in basketball. We're an hour from a location that actually probably 45 minutes from a school or in a few locations where they have very good players and high character people. So someone who understood that terrain, someone who was instantly recognized, and being able to walk in the gyms was important for me as I thought through it.
Yeah, I just echo what Troy said. That recruiting is certainly a distinct advantage if you're on your native turf, so to speak, and it also helps enormously, I think, just in building the spirit of the programs. If it's a place you already know and love, it's that much easier to draw people into the stands and build the excitement around it all.
Anything else?
Coach Tillett, back to you. So for somebody who originally came to Longwood to be a teacher, I'm kind of fascinated with this background and being a second grade teacher while you're not teaching these girls second grade curriculum. How do you think that background helps make those connections, get points across, and have different techniques, be able to sink into the minds of the players?
Absolutely. I think students are students, whatever level you are teaching. And as you said, the curriculum changes. And I think strategies I've learned and experiences I've been fortunate enough to have will influence how I teach. And I think when you're working with an individual student athlete, each of them come to you with different experiences and different backgrounds. And our job as a leader of the program and the staff that I assemble will be to form this cohesive unit that works really well together. And so teaching strategies, I think, can only help teach the game of basketball, teach them how to be a cohesive unit, teach them how, as women, to feel empowered and go after each of their dreams. And that is something I wanted to just reiterate about President Reevely's vision and Troy's vision about, it was clear to me in the interview process that they are both committed to women's basketball, and that the town of Farmville and the community and the college is excited about men's and women's basketball. And that is something that's exciting to me to be a part of and to have leaders leading with that vision in mind. I would also like to say I do have a few family members here. My mom, Lynn, is here today, and she's been with me every step of my coaching career and will be very present at our games. My son, Jack, is here, and my daughter, Maya. My daughter, Isabel, couldn't make it because she just couldn't miss her assignments in class today. She said, Mom, it's too much, can't miss. And then my husband, of course, couldn't make it today because he's working. But so thankful for all of them and their support through this. And my dad couldn't make it today, but he is certainly my coaching inspiration.